You know what time it is? It is time for the Scandal Sesh with your host, Summer Rayne. I'm a little fine. Get a drunk with a little bit of wine. I don't know what I'm drinking today with my co-host.
Hi, Perry here, your sarcastic elixir mixer that likes to spread the tea and super fan of Drag Race. And we're back for episode 3.
Episode 3. What did you think of episode 2? Are you happy with where we're at so far? Where are you at?
I mean, I'm happy that we're finally done with this incredibly long premiere, like almost 6 hours of a premiere. So we finally got through it. I'm excited, but it was good.
I mean, my adrenaline and motivation would just be through the roof. Like, give me the challenge. I'm freaking ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, they're feeling excited. They're ready to go. This is what they came for, not to sit in a loading dock. And I also really liked what Denali was talking about, because she's like, as an athlete, like when you fail, it pushes you to want to even do harder. And like, so like they got knocked down a little, but I feel like they're going to really give it their all now, because they're like, we gotta prove ourselves.
Absolutely, yeah. That fire is right under their booty. That's definitely what's going to help them with an advantage. There's twofold. The losers have the fire, the advantage with the fire under the butts, but then the winners have the fire because they won as a lip sync coming right into the gate.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think, like, overall, though? Like, I personally think they did have that fire, and I think that their performance was like 10 times better than last week's.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Once I actually saw the performance of them at the end of the episode, towards the end, it was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We've got the mini challenge first, kind of just like last week, except for instead of day and night, they did Ladykins and Vamp.
Vamp! Those are my favorites. Lady and the Vamp is, and I was so scared for Kimora if she was going to make it to the main stage. I mean, the little, preview that they send you the middle of the week. I mean, of course, it's like, I need to watch the episodes. The episode, Kimora, it seems like is going to make it, but she ends up making it.
She was a little late. I'm kind of surprised that they don't talk about that when they're at the judging panel, but let's hope that's not like something that's going to happen regularly.
Yeah. And even though Kimora was late, she was definitely not one of my favorites for the looks. It was very clean for the lady, very white, very much demure. This is not drag.
Who were your favorite lady looks?
My favorite one was Rosé. I really liked her. What was her?
She did that like paper doll, like
oh my
artsy
to dress.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so cool. And then the little surprise at the end when she had Rosé with her little purse.
Yeah.
And Tamisha was my absolute favorite too, with that red jumpsuit. Goodness.
I definitely liked Tamisha and Rosé. I put a star next to Rosé when I was watching, but my other star for the lady look, I just loved Utica's. It was so fun and different, and like there's something about the way she paints her face too that like it's just, I like it a lot.
Yeah, she does like these. They almost remind me of the little animated show Atlantis when they have like the language, especially on her vamp look. She has these like clown things with like these little hieroglyphics is what I want to call them.
Yeah.
But not my favorite for the ladies was Joey J.
Joey J was so plain and so boring.
Yeah. But she did not wear a wig this time.
Yeah. I feel like Denali and Kimora were cute, but they didn't stand out to me. I really liked Denali's like blue paint on her arms and legs, but like it wasn't enough. Like I was just like, meh.
Yeah, I agree. I loved her concept and it looked good. Maybe if they would have had more time, she could have executed a little bit better.
Yeah. And then we got the vamp look.
Well, I'm gonna say that every time. One of my favorites for the vamp looks was Rose again. That look, I mean, I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't look away. The way that she ruffled the like tulle, like the lace, and she ruffled it. Oh my god! And that headpiece was so cool.
That headpiece was like, it came out and I was like, what's going on? I mean, almost kind of reminded me of Billy Porter, where he came out and he had that, or was it Billy Porter, where the thing opened up? I was kind of hoping something like that would happen, but still, I just loved it. I loved the arms. She was definitely one of my favorites. And my other two favorites for the vamp look, this time I did really like Denali. I loved the Marie Antoinette look. I loved how I just loved how it fit her. It was great. And then Kimora, I loved this look. I know it was kind of simple, but like her red wet wig, just, I mean, that's vampy to me. Like, I feel like I could have seen her in a Anne Rice book to movie. Like,
yeah, I mean, the way that she had the red hair, bright red, the really dark makeup, the dark lipstick, and then she had the pointed shoulders on her like black dress. Yeah, she really was a standout for me. Denali, I mean, again, like you, Denali was one of my favorites for the vamp. It was almost looked like she was smoking in a way, like she had this aura of smoke around her. And again, Joey J, I did not like him. Did not like the way that he looked. It was, again, just too basic for me.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Joey's. I wasn't sure, like I like Utica being different, but I wasn't even sure what I was looking at on this one. The neck piece was too big. Tamisha's, I wasn't excited about it at first, but then it took me a minute. And like, when I realized that that was all hair, I was like, oh my goodness. And like, it was like a fun, unique, different look, take on Elvira. Like, it took me a minute though. I had to like look closely at the details.
Like, I definitely wasn't expecting that. The runways are pretty much couture, like full-on concepts. I mean, hers was a concept, but like it was a very traditional take on the Elvira.
Yeah.
But Utica's, the only thing I liked about Utica's was that she had the balls for her neck thing tied in from her first look. So it was almost like what you see on top of the ball pit and then something like what you see on the bottom where all the mucus and dirt is.
After the mini challenge, then they're back in the workroom again. And, oh, by the way, back in the workroom again, dragging. No matter how much I dislike Joey J's outfits, I love seeing him take his shirt off.
He is definitely the trend of the season. I mean, multiple times. I mean, Utica was one that's like, everyone looks like a
Utica's adorable. But so now they're going to choreograph Phenomenon, and the last week, none of them wanted to claim that they were dancers or choreographers. And this week we've got 3 of them, all Rose, Joey, and Denali are all like, I'm the choreographer.
Yeah, but little did we know, we had a number 4 that might have been sneaking in there. But they were fighting. They were like, we're going to do this. And they haven't even got to the stage yet. It almost looked like they haven't even worked on their lyrics.
Right.
And they were already discussing what they wanted to do for the blocking. This person wanted to do this. This person wanted to do that. Oh my gosh. I was getting lost in the mix.
I mean, they were getting lost. Kimora was definitely getting lost. I think it's funny you said number 4, because yeah, for sure, Tamisha is definitely a choreographer. But I like that she was the older, mature one that knew there's no way they can have 4 chefs in the kitchen. So she's like, I'm just gonna sit back and let these girls duel it out. And then Denali wasn't even going to like 10, like that she was for sure being stubborn. Like she wanted to be the head one.
Yeah, very much like, I really like Denali's confidence. Sometimes it can be a little bit too confident.
We learned that Kimora only performs like 2 times a month. Like she's not a full-time drag queen. And then like probably why it takes her 6 hours to get ready. So.
And that's the thing about it is, and that's what we were scared about earlier in the episode, is that we didn't know if she was going to make it out to the main stage. But I completely agree with Kimora though. I like to take my time because it's a spiritual thing. I want to make sure that I'm going all of my steps from beginning to end and taking as much time as I need to.
If you had to, or I mean, eventually you want to be on Drag Race, what's the fastest you can paint a good face? Like,
ooh. The fastest I've ever painted a good face was probably like an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes. But that was when I was like starting my eyebrows as I'm doing other things as well. So it was like a multitask type of gig. But if I'm going to make it on Drag Race, I'm going to shave my brows.
And how long do you normally take?
Done and done. Normally, I mean, tonight it was like 2.5 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
Last week, Perry, you had said that we should write our own lyrics for Phenomenon. Do you have yours? Did you
Oh, no, you remembered. I was hoping you would forget. No, I'm kidding. I remembered. I do. You want to hear what I wrote?
I do, yeah. You go and then I'll go next.
All right. It's a little corny and I'm not a singer, so I'm just going to kind of read it as a poem, but. A mixer of the liquor, let's chit chat and bicker, spilling drag tea, ooh, look at me. One day I want to be viral, I'll just claim my own title. So sit down at my bar, time to throw them back far.
Oh my God. Talking all about the drinking and the pharmacist.
You got to talk about yourself. That's what I do.
That's right. Okay, are you ready for mine?
I'm ready for yours.
Okay. Summer is bearded and here to stay. You might need a doctor, so start to pray. She's sweet like candy, sour like lemon, and beautiful as the heavens. Aww. She snips nails and stomps the ground, kills it with the beat and sound. And I don't know what beat and sounds I'm doing. Hot like fire and smoking that bud. Summer's gonna kill these other bitches and stomp them in the mud.
Nice.
That was mine.
Stomp them in the mud. I love it. Well, they all had some fun lyrics too. I feel like that was something that they were also stronger on than the girls last week. Like I said last week, I didn't like how like a bunch of the queens just want to talk about taking the crown. They actually told us a little bit about themselves. Rosé killed it, but like she was funny and she told us about herself. She plays on the word because her name's a wine. I liked Joey's lyrics, but there's something about Joey's posture that's weird to me. Like, it's one thing that he wants to be a queen without a wig, but then his posture's very masculine as well. And I'm like, I get thrown off, like I lose the illusion, as they'd say. Like,
The only thing I like about Joey is all of his clothes off. And I do love that he does this little buzz cut when he's in drag. Thank God that he does pack, because I do agree he does have a little bit of like man walk. However, he killed it in the performance. I could really tell he's a performance queen in the performance, but I really like Utica's. Like I haven't really got into Utica's outfits recently, but the way—
Finally, you like Utica.
She was like wiggle to the top, wiggle to the top. That was fun. She was totally just in her own element, saying what she wants to say. And we found out she's a Seventh-day Adventist.
But both Ross and Nicole just totally lit up when Utica was performing. And I was like, that was by far like their happiest part of the performance. And yeah, she was super kooky and super fun, and like she towers above everybody. Like, Denali also slayed her lyrics and looked great. I definitely like was focused on her. Like, she didn't steal the entire stage like Olivia did last week, but she definitely was a major part of the performance.
Yeah. I do think Tamisha needed to step it up a bit. I know the judges were kind of like, you've been in the game for a long time. We found out in the workroom she's done over 200 pageants, been in the game for she has biological children that are older than most of the queens that were in the workroom. So she's been in the game for a long time. But I think that she was a little set back because of the reason why last season she had to back out. So I don't know if she's not the one to really like step up and say something if something's wrong.
Right. Well, I mean, like, she said that she couldn't walk for a while, and like she just started walking again. So like if she's just starting walking, like she's not going to go running. She's not sprinting. Like back in her first lip sync, we talked about how like she was very like very robotic and like kind of stiff in her movements. And it was the same thing on this. Like she was definitely stiff in her movements. She had all the choreography. She wasn't like behind like Kimora. She wasn't missing steps, but her steps all were just a little too stiff. And I think Nicole gave feedback to Kimora saying, if you're not a dancer, lean into it. But that same kind of thing, like maybe Tamisha needs to realize if you're too old to do this, you need to figure out how to make it work for you. Like, I don't remember what season Miss Kasha Davis was on, but Miss Kasha Davis was an older queen too that didn't move quite as well as the younger girls. But she, like, I remember when they did that flight attendant one, and she was killing it. Like, because instead of like trying to move like the rest of the girls, she just camped it up and like owned how she was older.
Yeah, definitely. So I know Tamisha's a huge contender, so hopefully she steps it up.
The main challenge, the main event was We're Here, We're Sheer. We're looking for some sheer looks. What'd you think about the runway?
Some of them are really cool. Denali's, I almost feel, I don't know what her vision was. She could have been a floating one of those little dandelions in the air. She could definitely have been, I just look kind of unfinished in a way. And then Tamisha's, I'm almost wearing a Tamisha dress right now.
It's got that shimmer and sheer.
That's right. Ooh.
Denali also brought back the long braid again, except for this time it was black. That's a trend, it seems like. And I do agree with what you were saying. Like, I wasn't exactly sure what she was going for. Like, you could definitely feel she was intending to be a flower, but it just wasn't complete. It didn't read right. But I liked it. It wasn't the worst thing on the stage, but it wasn't like the best.
Mm-hmm. I do think that Kimora looked beautiful. She looked gorgeous.
Yeah, I starred Kimora is my favorite runway. Like that look, the sheer lingerie, the sparkles, her hair. It was exactly what, when they said we're here, we're sheer, I was like, already that's kind of what I had in my head. And then she wore it and sold it.
Yeah. Were there any that you did not like? Really? Any others? Like rosés?
Honestly, like Utica, I wasn't completely sold on. Like, I know that the sheer was, the black on her dress was sheer, but it just didn't like work for me. Like, because in contrast with the other colors, it lost its sheerness. I don't know. I didn't hate it, but it was one of my least favorites. Joey was my least favorite. He had now worn basic black 3 times in a row. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I didn't even care about us not wearing a wig. Like I wasn't even looking from the neck up. It was all looking from the neck down. I just wasn't on it. And then, yeah, you said Rosé, like, I love Alufta. I get where she was going. I liked the sleeves, but the actual body itself, I was like, I think she missed the assignment. It's not really sheer. It's plastic, but yeah, like if she did what she did with the sleeves all over, I feel like that would have worked.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I think she needed some different hair. It almost looked like it was a hodgepodge of kind of different concepts into one. This is what we're presenting to you. If she used, I love the sleeves. I love that because it really gives great effect as you're walking and performing. But I agree. There should have been some kind of cohesive, something cohesive about it all.
Yeah.
Really. And the judges seem to freaking like Denali, though, and like what she was wearing in her performance, in her lyrics. They actually had some really good things to say about pretty much everybody.
Yeah, they didn't really give too much besides Kimora and Tamisha's stage performance. They spent a little time on, but as far as looks go, they didn't really say anything about anyone's look. Michelle brought up Joey not wearing a wig, and Ross is like, the first time it was cute, the second time, the third time, the fourth time. Like, they commented on it, but they also didn't tell her not to do it. They didn't say they hated it. They just said, make sure it is on theme with everything. Like, don't just do it just because, like, it needs to make sense. And I hope that we see it fit more. Because also, like, I think it was purple 3 out of the 4 times and it was red 1 time, but the purple never really mattered with the rest of the outfit. So I'm like,
right. That's like Joey's hair really is that like purpley silver.
Right.
And what was funny is like as we're watching, my partner's like, oh my God, how did he get it red? And I was like, probably spray paint. So much like Michelle was saying on her season with Dusty, where she said, I'm looking forward to that for your face. I felt like she was very aggressive, but with Joey, she was just saying, and Joey was the first one that said, I have wigs, sis, don't worry, you'll see them. Yeah. So they were all okay with that. But Joey's fucking hot. I mean, he doesn't have to take no time to take his makeup off and be ready for a trade.
And I think that maybe since the judges knew there was not going to be a bottom, they didn't really go in. They're like, okay, we're going to let you on the stage this one time. No matter who gets sent home, at least you all got one good week. But they did pick some winners. Who would have been your 2 winners?
Well, Rosé would have been one for sure. She really killed it with the mini challenges. And other than her runway look, which it was really 75% good, she fucking killed it. But I think my other winner, I would probably have to decide between Denali or Tamisha.
I could see that. I definitely, Tamisha had some great looks. I feel like they always tend to focus heavy on the performance. So that's probably why she didn't. Because like, no matter what, I didn't like most of Denali's looks. I mean, she did have one really good one I liked, but her performance was really good. But like going on performance and having some good looks, I honestly like, I think Utica was a contender. Like I would have loved to see Rosé and Utica go head to head.
Yeah. So the final 2 were Rosé and Denali. Were you happy that Denali won the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, even though I might not have picked her as my top favorite, out of those 2, when they started lip syncing, there was a couple of times where I'm like, wait, does Rosé not know the words? Like I kept catching her like missing a couple words. And then there one point where Rose almost completely stopped lip syncing. She just like, I don't know if she was like turning around or what, but like, she wasn't, and maybe it's because like, I think we talked about this in the last episode too, was because like Candy and Gottmik got prepared to lip sync. I think that maybe they thought that they did so well, they didn't have to prepare and they weren't ready for that. But Denali was ready and Denali lip synced the hell out of it. Like she was great.
Yeah. You know, as their performances, I know that Rose comes from New York. And a lot of the performances they do there, they have a really small stage. So a lot of the videos that I see with like her and Laguna and Jan, it's very much, and even Britta, there's 3 people in a triangle and they shift in this little small box. And that's all Rose was doing. It's very much high energy, just in a really small area. That's what she was used to. So as soon as I saw Denali kicking it around the stage and using up that whole thing, I knew that she was gonna kill it.
But I know Rose can fill up a stage because when I saw her and Jan perform, they did what's that lesbian song from Rent? Take Me or Leave Me. Yeah. They did that and they like took up the whole stage and like went into the audience and like they made it a big thing. Like, so I know she can be big in her performance. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she wasn't tonight. And like I said, maybe she just wasn't ready. Maybe she was in shock. But I also like when they announced the winner, she also didn't look surprised. Like, I think she knew she kind of lost it.
Yeah. So Denali won $5,000. So,
woohoo!
Woo! I mean,
and now we're finally gonna see them all together, and we're finally gonna get an elimination.
I am so excited to see this episode where they all come together because I know that Tamisha and Lala is Tamisha's drag daughter, so it'd be interesting to see that.
Yeah, she still doesn't even know she's there.
Right. Yeah. I think that she does though, because if you're with the other queens, you're bound to tell them who you lip sync against.
Oh, they probably maybe brought it up at some point.
Yeah. Maybe they just haven't like really shown it yet because they just haven't had the episode to meet.
But also there's so much for them to talk about. Like they might think, oh, eventually I'll talk about that, but we had other things to talk about. And Tamisha also doesn't seem like she's being super social with the other girls. Like she's kind of hanging out, making little chime in with the motherly things here and there, but she's like focused on herself. So
yeah, and sometimes that's what it takes to win the crown.
Yeah,
like Rose says, we're not here to make friends, we're not here to be sisters, but I will get my way to the crown.
Yeah, and the girls also think they sent Elliot home already, so they're gonna be surprised when they like, oh, there's Elliot again.
Surprise.
And Elliot's gonna be like, you bitches all sent me packing.
You bitches better beware.
Right?
Watch out.
I can't wait to see what happens. I really want to. So who do you think is the least or is the most likely to be in the bottom next week? Who do you think is the now that we've seen 3 episodes of all of them?
Well, knowing that, seeing a little snippet of next week and knowing that they have to do videos, I don't think that Kimora would be as strong or, I mean, all of them have some relatively good acting. I think it's just Kimora and Elliot, the other 2 people that have been in the bottom.
Yeah.
What about you?
I agree with you completely. Like, Kimora, I feel like it's going to be a struggle for her. Like, now that we're finding out she's not a seasoned performer. And, I mean, I just didn't think Elliot was ever that strong. And, like, I was glad to see a little bit more of him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets sent home. And for the 4th time, Joey, I feel like, is not doing super well, but there's something about him that I feel like he's gonna hang on a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. As far as like, I think Tanisha is gonna shine next week. I think that like she's got some time to like get a grasp of what's going on. And then I feel like doing a video like where she has a chance to take some takes and stuff, like maybe go about it a little slower. I think we're gonna really see her shine. I think Tina is gonna be super funny. So yeah, I'm excited about next week.
Yeah, maybe Utica. I mean, she's very much that quirky little self. And she could probably come up with some really creative, imaginative ideas that would probably be in her best benefit and kind of put the other queens in some kind of like a limbo that they can't get there.
Right. Well, we made it through another episode.
Catch us next week while we spill the tea, drink a little bit, smoke a little bit, and talk about episode 4.
I can't wait. Until next time, subscribe. Bye.
Bye. Oh, thank you so much for the tip. Thank you.
Awesome.